This is a warehouse of folding tables, stacked chairs, and rolled-up tents. Looks like a weekend hustle, something you do for gas money between real jobs. It's out-earning people with actual careers. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what a warehouse of party supplies pulls in over a year. Not the sticker price on a folding chair, the real number, built piece by piece. And once you see how it stacks up, you'll understand why almost nobody accounts for it right. Here's what you'd see if you walked in. Rows of white folding chairs, stacks of round tables, 10 deep, a few tents rolled up like carpets, maybe 6 or 8 bounce houses, deflated, folded, waiting in a corner, a delivery van out front with a ladder rack. A party rental business, renting out the stuff other people need for one day and never again, sounds about as glamorous as it reads. Nobody grows up dreaming of owning 400 folding chairs. Rent a bounce house for a Saturday birthday party and you'll pay somewhere between $150 and $350. That's the entire transaction as far as most people ever see it. A guy shows up, inflates a plastic castle, picks it up Sunday morning. Feels like a teenager's summer job with a truck attached. Nobody looks at that and thinks, this is how you out-earn a lawyer.
This teenager's summer job clears real profit, and not a little. Margin, by the way, just means what's left after costs. Rent a standard bounce house, subtract delivery, cleaning, insurance, and wear, and you're usually left with 30 to 40% of what the customer paid. On a $200 booking in a smaller market, that's $60 to $80 for 4 hours of setup and pickup. Metro markets charge more to start with, sometimes $300 and up, before you even upgrade anything. Now upgrade the unit. A premium combo, slide, obstacle course, the works, can run $400–500 a booking. Same delivery van, same afternoon. The margin jumps to near 60%. That's over $700 of pure profit from one plastic structure in one day. A standard unit nets you about $185 a booking. A premium one nets over $700. Same warehouse, same guy driving the van. Almost 4 times the money for choosing which box to load. That's reveal 1, and it still isn't the number that matters.
Reveal 2, and this is where it stops adding up the way you'd think, this isn't a business that does one event a month. A fleet of 8 to 12 units booked steadily needs somewhere around 450 bookings a year to clear 6 figures in revenue. That's not a guess. Real operators report exactly that pace, at an average of roughly $240 a booking. And it's not spread evenly across the calendar. Something like 60% of a full year's bookings happen in 3 months, June, July, August. Something like 70 to 80% happen on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, which means for one part of the year, this garage that got out of hand runs almost every single weekend, sometimes multiple bookings a day off the same fleet. One part-time operator running exactly this setup, out of Florida, nothing fancy, reported clearing $100,000 a year, part-time. Add tents to the inventory and the math gets stranger. A single wedding tent, fully set up with tables, chairs, and lighting, can bill anywhere from $3,000 to $12,000 for one Saturday, one event, one tent that maybe cost $1,500 to buy in the first place. So, cheap equipment, rented constantly, at prices that don't feel small once you count them all in one column. But neither of those numbers is the real story here. Because bounce houses and tents are the part of this business you're supposed to notice. The part that's actually printing money is the part nobody photographs for the brochure. Here's the part that breaks people's brains. One real party rental operation pulls 75% of its revenue from city contracts and corporate events, not birthday parties, city government, office parties, school district functions. Those clients don't haggle over a $50 damage waiver. They sign standing contracts. They rebook every year without a sales call, and they pay on invoices, not credit cards at the door. Reveal 3, everything gets a fee, and every fee compounds on top of equipment that's already been paid off for years. Delivery isn't included. It's $25 to $100 extra, and if a company gives it away free just to win the booking, they're quietly handing back 15 to 25% of their profit on that job. No power outlet at the venue? That's a $50 to $150 generator rental. Party runs long, $25 to $50 an hour, and parties always run long. Want the damage waiver so a torn bounce house doesn't cost $400 out of pocket? Another $50 to $120.
Even the boring inventory has its own fee structure. Tables, chairs, and linens alone typically bill at $12 to $20 per guest, so a 200-person wedding is paying $2,000 to $4,000 just for the stuff you sit on. None of these show up in the headline price. All of them show up in the deposit. A $200 bounce house booking can quietly become $350 before the truck even leaves the lot. Now, stack that fee structure on top of institutional clients who book in bulk, book early, and book again next June without being asked. That's not a side hustle anymore. That's a business with a sales pipeline.
Here's the number the whole video has been building toward. Real full-service operations, the kind with tents, tables, chairs, inflatables, and a couple of trucks, routinely report $700,000 to $800,000 in annual revenue. One doing exactly this was recently listed for sale with revenue of $764,000. Another, $818,000. A smaller one, leaning almost entirely on those city and corporate contracts, cleared $245,000 in revenue on just $72,500 in costs, a margin most restaurants would trade a limb for. Run the standard 30 to 40% margin on a business doing $750,000 a year, and the owner walks away with somewhere between $225,000 and $300,000 in profit annually. The average small business owner in America makes somewhere around $80,000 to $100,000 a year. The average worker, any job, any industry, makes about $67,000. This warehouse, folding chairs, tents, a few plastic castles, is out-earning both of them, sometimes by 3 or 4 times over. Nobody's putting that on a LinkedIn headline. Here's the other side of the ledger. That fleet isn't cheap to build. A full inventory of tents, tables, chairs, and inflatables realistically costs somewhere between $150,000 and $300,000 to assemble, not the $15,000 starter kit some blog will sell you. Remember that 60% of revenue landing in 3 months? That means 9 months where cash flow is thin, and payroll, insurance, and storage rent don't take the summer off. Equipment gets damaged, weather cancels bookings with 0 notice, no refund for you. And in most cities, 2 or 3 other trucks with the same tents are bidding for the same Saturday. This isn't passive, it's seasonal, physical, and unforgiving if you undercapitalize it. So look at that warehouse again. Folding chairs, stacked tables, a few tents rolled up in the corner. Still looks like a weekend hustle? It isn't one, and it's not the only boring business quietly doing this. If you want to see the next one hiding in plain sight, that's already on the channel.